people, people who are not, acquainted with Hinduism in depth, they think we worship millions of gods. Generally, people think like that. The real significance is that we have only one. That is the Upanishad revelation that Ishavasyam idagum sarvam. There is only one Ishvara, that consciousness that pervades the whole Jagat.
Yes. So when we talk about basic rituals, what do you think we should be doing on the day of Diwali? So do you think this firecracker, is it something which has recently been associated with Diwali, or is it always been a part of Diwali celebration since ancient time? I mean, obviously there could be a different form of firecracker in ancient time. A lot of people have associated Diwali with gambling, again, in the name of Goddess Lakshmi, that will bring prosperity and money and whatnot. What would you like to say about them? Because, obviously something which is not right is not right. Good morning, everyone. And today we have a special guest, Swamini Chide Karasananda ji with us. And we will be talking about the Diwali festival. Obviously, we all have been celebrating Diwali for, since our childhood. And there are some, unspoken facts or, about Diwali, which we may not be aware of. So we will touch base on some of those, facts about Diwali, and also how we should celebrate Diwali in terms of puja, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, in order to get the maximum blessing from our God. So please welcome Swamini Chide Karasananda ji to our show. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, Swami ji.
Namaste. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Should we start with a small prayer?
Yeah, we can start with a small prayer. As it is nearing Diwali, I will start with the prayer for light as well, which introduces light, Asatoma. So we can begin, and then for Guru. Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Varam Param. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Namaste.
So, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very happy to be here and with the listeners on the other side as well.
We are truly blessed to have you today on our show. So, would you like to share a little bit about your, childhood, little bit about how you got into spirituality and, early days when you met with your guru, how things changed in your life?
Generally, as a sannyasini or sannyasa, we don't, sannyasi or sannyasini, sorry, we don't generally talk about our purvashrama. It is called, previous life actually for us, because when we take the ochre robes, when we take these robes, we give up our identity with the past. But having said that, sometimes experiences of the past can help people in their own spiritual pursuit. So I'll just briefly share about my journey. And I have been in this field from very young. My late teens, I started on the spiritual journey. And that was after a visit to India, actually. My purvashrama, my previous, ashram, our parents had taken me for a yatra in south of India. So they had taken me to many very ancient temples like Madurai, Meenakshi. You may have heard of all these very, very old temples and huge temples with huge gopurams, huge temple columns. These temples like Madurai, Meenakshi, Chidambaram, all of these temples. And I felt there was an inner shift in my thinking, in my pursuit during that visit to India. And I decided there and then that after that visit that this is what I want to pursue. And I started my spiritual journey with our guru of that time, who was Satya Sai Baba of Puttaparthi, who has been the family guru from my grandparents' times, and a lot of miracles and a lot of experiences that many people in the family have had with Swami. And I went to stay with Swami for a length of, I had gone for 6 months initially to actually get some guidance in my life, which way I should go. So that was during my teens. I was still studying in London. And I went there and I wanted to ask his guidance. He actually told me to stay there. So he said, stay with me, stay and follow me. So I stayed. I did not question, because for us, he was everything. He represented Guru, Ishvara, everything. And that 6 month stay ended up being 12 years. So in those 12 years, I was involved in doing seva in the ashram, and wherever Swami went, it was more a service orientation, bhajans, singing, and that was for a period of 12 years, my own sadhanas and my own pursuits. Then after 12 years, he told me to return to the UK. And it was in the UK, within 2 months of my return, I literally bumped into Swami Dayananda Saraswati in London, in Bharati Vidya Bhavan, when he was giving a series. In 3 days, he was giving some talks. And I had not heard of his name while I was in India. And he spoke about the words of Upanishads. He spoke about this knowledge of Vedanta, which speaks of the oneness of everything in existence. And this appealed to me very much. And I felt that after the time with Satya Sai Baba, now he has sent me to study further this knowledge, which he had, brought into my life at that time during the 12-year stay. So I ended up going back to India to a traditional Gurukulam for 3.5 years. So within 1 year of my return, I managed to do a master's administration. I did just as a degree, just to what.
So are you an MBA degree holder as well?
This education is there, but the uniqueness of that degree was that I did my thesis, my dissertation on Krishna's leadership style in the Mahabharata as compared to traditional Western forms of leadership. So the university accepted that. So even while I was pursuing that degree, my mind was on Krishna. I was doing research. So, and the university loved that, actually. I brought in our, Mahabharata, different aspects of Krishna's leadership, and they really appreciated a new stance to leadership as compared to Western models of leadership. So anyway, I had finished that, and I ended up going back to India for 3.5 years, and with my parents' blessing. That is important to add, because nothing works in life without parent blessing. So it is very important, even for spiritual pursuit. Especially mother's blessing is required. So my mother saw that my mind was going in this direction from very young, and she blessed me to go and study. So 3.5 years I spent in direct proximity of Swami Dayananda and my Acharya Swami Sakshat Kritananda Saraswati, who is now in charge of our Rishikesh ashram. And we spent the whole day studying Vedanta, Sanskrit, and all, knowledge connected to us, Sanatana Dharma. But mainly the Vedanta knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita and 10 Upanishads and Brahma Sutra were the main texts covered. And we had some supplementary texts plus the study of Panini grammar Sanskrit. So it was a very traditional, time of learning. From 4:30 till about 10, we're immersed in this lifestyle, temple and constant study of our Shastra. And it was a blessing to be in the Gurukula. We lived in the middle of a jungle, literally, like you read in Ramayana or Mahabharata, with, kutyars, like the rishis had. So we were in the middle of this forest, which is natural. It was a nature reserve, actually. It is about an hour outside Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu. And there we had this opportunity to be relatively cut off from everything. Internet, nothing worked there very much. So you're totally immersed in your pursuit, and you're immersed in knowledge of Upanishads and this ancient knowledge for 3.5 years. After that, Swamiji gave me the role as his editor-in-chief of his texts of the Gita and all the spiritual literature. So I spent 3.5 years in Chennai, where the headquarters of his Asha Vidya Publications is. And I started my teaching there. I started sharing this knowledge that Swamiji had given, because he had always told us, you don't have to give me anything in return for what has been given. And what was given in the Gurukulam? Food was given for free. Accommodation was given for free. Teaching was given for free. Materials were given for free. Everything was supported. Swamiji supported us fully to learn. And when we asked him what we can do in return, he said, share this knowledge with the world. Share this knowledge with others. That is the only Rishi Rina he asked for. There was no payment for that course, because it's invaluable knowledge, not because it is cheap. It is priceless. So Swamiji, this is how my journey to Vedanta began. And now I'm a full-time teacher based mainly in the UK. I teach Vedanta and other associated subjects.
It has been said that, Paddhati of Guru is the highest ranked profession in this world, and especially when it comes to the spiritual master. So, to be honest, you are quite, I would say, lucky or blessed to have such profound, spiritual leaders being your guru. So what would you like to say? Is it your, past life karmas, or is it something like, blessing, or that you managed to meet your guru and you got into this path?
I think it's a combination of many things. Definitely past life. We do acknowledge the role of past lives, not just life, past lives. Because to have that vritti, the thought that this is it and this is why I'm born, it is all our birthright to discover the truth of ourselves. That is why we are born. Are we simply here to sleep, eat, procreate, enjoy and die off? Is that the reason for human birth? So those thoughts were with me from very young age. And I knew that the purpose of life is not in this worldly pursuit. I recognized that very early. And that is not because I did not have everything. By God's grace, by Bhagwan's grace, I came into a very good family. I had all the amenities, I had the comforts, I experienced life in the fullest, I would say, from a young age, and I was never deprived of anything, but I never found joy in the world. I can say 100%. My joy was in discovering Ishvara, Bhagavan. So from young, my mind was going there, and we can't explain. That must be from past lives. It was like that. And because of that, then the pursuit becomes more focused in this line, and teacher comes into your life. We can't explain how it happens. When you are really sincere and there is a call to discover this self, to gain spiritual success, the teacher teaching everything just comes to you. It is a blessing. We can't explain. It is pure grace, actually. So past life may give you the thought, I want this only. But it is Ishvara Bhagavan that gives you the guru. And you may go seeking for a guru also. People often go for searching for a guru. But how do we recognize the correct one? That is also grace. There are many people. India is a supermarket for spiritual life, right? You can go spiritual shopping anywhere. Anywhere you go, there's thousands of people who say they are gurus or they have followers. But who is genuine and who is actually the teacher for you? So that Ishvara unfolds. And there doesn't have to be only one teacher in life. There can be multiple, because each teacher teaches you one aspect for your spiritual path. For myself, Satya Sai Baba, coming to him from a young age, I was immersed in this worship of Ishvara. There was a bhakti path there. It was mainly bhakti and seva. So path of devotion and seva. And I thank my past for that. We say in English, thank our lucky stars. Lucky stars is nothing but grace. I thank the grace for that, because that taught me that there is this formless energy that pervades this whole universe. Just because we don't see Bhagavan doesn't mean he doesn't exist. He is in everything. That is what Upanishads reveal. That he is in everything, he is in everyone. He is that formless reality that can take any form. He can take the form of a million gods. That is the beauty of our culture, Sanatana Dharma culture. We don't have one God. We don't have many gods. We have only God. So Puja Swamiji used to say that anything we invoke in India as Bhagavan, it is so sacred, everything. Rocks, trees, you go to villages, they're doing puja to trees, to rocks, to inanimate objects, because they invoke the one consciousness in that. So,
even the herbs and all, plants, herbs, so that is the beauty of our culture. That's
the beauty. People don't understand. People, people who are not, acquainted with Hinduism in depth, they think we worship millions of gods. Generally, people think like that. The real significance is that we have only one. That is the Upanishad revelation that Ishavasyam idagum sarvam. There is only one Ishvara, that consciousness that pervades the whole Jagat. Sarvam kalvidam Brahma. That one truth that pervades the whole Jagat can be seen in different forms. So the forms are, they are to invoke the one. Like if you pull my little finger, the whole of me is invoked, right? You pull my little finger, whole of me is invoked. So the forms are like the different parts that you pull, but you reach the one alone.
Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about Diwali. Obviously, Diwali is one of our most celebrated festival in our religion, in our culture. So what is Diwali according to you?
Yeah. So Diwali is actually in the traditional Sanskrit word for it is Deepa Avali, which means a row of lights, a row of lamps. And it is, again, there are many festivals in many cultures that have this analogy to light removing darkness. So there are many legends surrounding Diwali, depending on which part of India you come from, the state you come from. The stories are told, through Vriddha Vyavahara or through the ancestors, or you hear the stories as you grow up. But the main idea behind all the stories for Diwali is that the light is there to illumine our lives and remove the darkness of ignorance. It is to remove, the light is brought in to remove these negative tendencies that we carry with us. And in Gujarat, actually, the day, day after Diwali is New Year for them. So in Gujarat, they celebrate. I mean, are you Gujarati? No. But there are some states, I think, in India that celebrate their New Year very close to the Diwali time. And they, do Lakshmi Pooja. I know that you had wanted to know about Lakshmi Pooja as well. I come from the south of India. In the south, the story is that there is a asura, Narakasura, again, a demon that was wreaking havoc in the world. Usually these demons, nobody is able to control except Bhagwan. And even the gods are overpowered by the demons, right? Ravana also being the same. In North, Rama's story is told during Diwali. So in South, it is usually this, Krishna killing Narakasura. Again, there was a very beautiful boon that the Asura himself asked. The demon asked Krishna. And the story goes that he asked Krishna that on the day he is killed, that it should be a day of celebration. He asked for the boon that people should celebrate my death. So that is very significant because it is the destruction of these negative forces, negative tendencies. That's what, again, we just saw Navaratri, the same kind of representation. Here, Diwali also, the light clears out the darkness. And in the south, there is a very, south, by south, I'm meaning Tamil Nadu. Maybe in different states, they have other practices. But I remember in the morning as we wake up, we cannot open our eyes. I remember my mother doing this ritual as children. The first thing we used to see in the morning is our face in the mirror. So as I opened my eyes, I would see, because it's a new birth. It is a new you. So it is very significant. The mirror is held up. And of course, we have the, the sweet givings, the celebration by sharing sweets with people. Sweet is always something sweet in life, right? We love that. And also wearing new dresses. It is a form of rebirth. So Diwali is a form of I am out with the old and in with the new. So a lot of spring cleaning is done around that time as well. People clear out old things from their homes, clean out their homes. This is all symbolic. It has a great, all our festivals have a great spiritual significance. It is bringing in the light into our homes and the darkness, dispersing the darkness.
Yeah, I think in our tradition as well, normally we clean the house and, make sure everything is very nice, clean and pure. And then we celebrate. And there are different, incidents attached to Diwali. One is that Lakshmi ji re-evolved from, Samudra Manthan on the day of Diwali. And then obviously Ramji returned back to Ayodhya on the day of Diwali. And like you said, there's a story of Narakasura as well, which was killed by Lord Krishna on the day of Diwali. And so the Diwali, that day itself is connected with so many different incidents. And that is why people celebrate in a different way. So when we talk about Lakshmi Pooja, which is I think it's a most interesting thing for most of our listeners, how should we, what's the right way of doing Lakshmi Pooja on Diwali? And how should we invite Goddess Lakshmi to our home?
So first of all, we have to understand who Goddess Lakshmi is. And I think, generally when we say Lakshmi, people always associate with material wealth, with finance, money. And that's why she's very popular as a deity as well. Yeah. But in fact, when we invoke Lakshmi, we should think of her eightfold form. In many temples, Lakshmi is seen as Ashtalakshmi, as the eightfold form of Lakshmi. And these eightfold forms don't only include material wealth. So there's I will just tell you the 8 forms. Adi Lakshmi, Danya Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi. Adi Lakshmi means the cause, the creatrix of the universe, Adi Lakshmi. She can be invoked as the one who, with the creative energy, she manifests the universe as well. So Adi Lakshmi, she is the original mother of the universe. And this Dhanya Lakshmi, Adi Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, in those days, grains were considered very auspicious, very considered, as wealth as well. So Dhanya Lakshmi means she is invoked as the goddess of agriculture also. So Dhanya Lakshmi, she is the goddess of the grains, of the resources for our physical well-being. And she is Dhairya Lakshmi. Adi Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, or Veera Lakshmi, you can say either way. which is the one who gives you courage. So this form of Lakshmi is, the one which is very powerful, very strong. And you can see the iconography, maybe online people can see that, how she is depicted on temples as well as Dhairya Lakshmi. So she is actually, with challenges we meet in life, she is the one who gives the wealth of courage. So this eightfold form of Lakshmi is eightfold form of wealth. Dhairya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi. So some pictures of Lakshmi, you'll see two elephants by the side. In that form, she's called Gaja Lakshmi. Again, the goddess of the wealth of cattle. In those days also, animal wealth was wealth. So she's the goddess of animals in that Gaja Lakshmi form. She gives you the wealth of not just the grains, but also the agriculture, the cattle, the horses, all of that is considered wealth. And she is Santana Lakshmi. What other kind of wealth do we have in life? Progeny, the wealth of children. Santana Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi. She is the goddess of progeny. She gives you the wealth of children. Because of Santana Lakshmi's blessings, we are able to have these children, and good children. Not just 100 children like the Kauravas, just for the sake of having children. But they are good children. And Vijaya Lakshmi again, Jaya Lakshmi, Vijaya, goddess of victory. She gives you victory over anything in life, not just, battles, but, any kind of challenges, any obstacles you have in life that prevent you from discovering success in whatever field you're going into. Vijaya Lakshmi is taken up. And Vijaya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Dhana Lakshmi. Vidya Lakshmi, goddess of knowledge. She's invoked as well. The wealth of knowledge is also Vidya Lakshmi. So she is here as looking like Goddess Saraswati as well. Now we know Goddess Saraswati is usually associated with knowledge, but this aspect of Lakshmi is again synonymous with that Saraswati as well. So this Vidya Lakshmi, she gives knowledge in all areas, not just spiritual wealth, the wealth of knowledge she gives. And of course, the last form of Lakshmi is what we usually go after, Dhana Lakshmi. She is the goddess of wealth, material wealth. But you can see now, in fact, Lakshmi should be invoked in this eightfold form. That is the full form, the Shakti of Lakshmi. Ashta Lakshmi, it's called eightfold form of Lakshmi.
To be honest, I knew a few of them, but not all of them. But it's very important to understand the all 8 forms of Lakshmi. And to be honest, every form of Lakshmi has its own role to play in our life, like you mentioned. So when we talk about Diwali Puja, what are do's and don'ts? Because a lot of time, we see a lot of different videos on YouTube and somebody says, start chanting this mantra, start chanting that mantra. And again, when it comes to Diwali, it's a 5-day festival. It's not just one day of Amavasya. Diwali normally falls on Amavasya. So it's like a 5-day, 2 days prior to Amavasya and 2 days after Amavasya. So when we talk about all 5 days, it has its own significance. So would you like to say a little bit more about what we should be doing from day 1 to day 5?
Yeah. So again, let us, sometimes when we watch too many things and everybody has their own way of worshipping, we have to understand one thing. We connect to the goddess one-to-one. There is no go-between in between here. So it is a one-to-one connection. And what is it that Ishvara, in the form of the goddess, what is it that is really looked at? I would say more than the rules and the regulations and all of this, what the attitude behind how we perform the puja is what is going to attract the grace, maximum amount of grace. It is important to have a clean altar. Definitely it is important to have, offerings, certain, and Panchopachara puja, even 5-step puja. We have Shodasha Upachara puja, 16-step puja, these technical ways of doing the puja as well. But, if we miss something or we don't do something right, Bhagavan will or Bhagavati will forgive. So what is mainly going to attract the maximum amount of grace, the benefit, is the purity of heart. It is all well keeping everything clean outside and doing everything technically. But do I have that pure heart that connects to Goddess Lakshmi? I have to see that. So I would say the real puja is offering your negative qualities to Goddess. When you do the Ashtotra or you say Om Lakshmi Namaha, and you do the Ashtotra, you imagine you are offering all these negative tendencies and let her take them away, because that is the real symbolic aspect of puja. Otherwise, the technical things, everybody has different ways of doing. We can't say one is right over the other. In the Vedic way, we have Panchopachara, we have 5-step, 16-step, 64-step as well, even further. In some temples, they do so many steps of the puja. But the main thing is that you connect with the divinity, and that comes with the pure heart, and you can chant whatever you wish. There is no rule here. Whatever, even you can chant in your language. If you can't chant Sanskrit properly, I'm sure Ishwari, Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi understands all language. She knows everything. So you can connect to her in your own language, in your own prayers, and it's the bhavana that she looks for. Grace is invoked through intention. So along with the physical aspect of offering, my intention becomes more important. So this is my advice for puja. Don't worry, because if people get anxious, am I doing this right, that right? Then your mind will be on actually all the rituals and not connecting to divinity. I would recommend that people, quietly do whatever they're possible, or whatever they have been taught through their families, whatever they have learned. And you say, if I've chanted anything wrong, there is a prayer actually for that at the end of the puja. Yadakshara pada prashtam matra hinam. So there is a prayer that we chant usually to just say, if I've said anything wrong, if I've done anything wrong, please forgive me, because I don't know any better. So this is what I would recommend. Follow what you are used to and don't worry.
Okay. So, normally how these days, like, festival days or certain days have how they are different than other days. Let's talk about like Diwali, how Diwali is different than any other day, because again, we see like, it's a day, it's just like another day. So what makes Diwali different than the normal days?
Yeah. So in fact, every day should be a Diwali. Every day should be a new waking up. But we have certain festivals, and usually they're based on the lunar calendar. So there's a lot of our festivals are connected with the lunar cycle, actually. And lunar cycle affects the mind, because moon affects the mind. So this is also very interesting. There's some, I won't go into Jyotisha and all that, but still there is some significance to when it falls and why it's celebrated. And it is a special celebration because you see, the whole of the country is united at this time. Everybody in all states, and even the Indians abroad living in all different parts of the world, everybody celebrates. So the thoughts of people are in celebration on that particular day. Other days we have, our normal day-to-day lives. We live through like every other day. But these special moments, these 5 days, especially some people celebrate the whole 5 days as well. This is the time where people come together, communities come together. These festivals are to bring people together as well. You see in India how Ganesh Chaturthi, the Visarjan day, how many people come and they all go. It is very important that we keep our traditions going, because that is how we come together as a community, as a society, and also we pray together. A society that prays together stays together. So, this is very beautiful. In India, you find throughout the year, there is always a coming together we have a chance also to meet our families, our friends. We go to each other's houses, give offerings of sweets, of new clothes, all of this. So that is why it becomes important. And now with some teaching, you understand it is with light. Light is an important feature of Diwali, clearing out the darkness of ignorance from our minds, that light.
Wonderful. Because again, a lot of time we live in a myth that, okay, so we have to do this, we have to do that. And, we are so tied up with following the rituals that we forget the main motive behind is like, connecting to God and keeping our heart clean and pure so that, it's easy for us to connect to God. And again, the basics of our Sanatan Dharma is that, respect every individual and try to see every individual on the same level. We shouldn't be discriminating among people. So a lot of time we forget the core values and just follow try to focus more on rituals. But again, when it comes to rituals, and there are certain ways of doing certain type of pujas. So when we talk about basic rituals, what do you think we should be doing on the day of Diwali?
I think, of course, lighting the lamps is a very important thing. Lighting the lamp and whatever we can. If we can't light flames, because in this country also there's a lot of rules and regulations, we may not be able to, because of fire hazard and things like that. Any type of light we can take, even the electric diyas, because it's symbolic again. If you can light diyas outside your main door and keep, it is it's a symbolic invitation of the light to enter your house. In South, in fact, Lakshmi is worshipped. It's called Velaka Pooja. She's worshipped in the form of light. So they do the puja to the lamp. This we call it Kuttu Velaka. It is a lamp that is puja is done to that lamp. So it is symbolic. Even if you put 2 lamps by the side of your main door at home, that's also a way of welcoming the light, symbolic welcoming of light. But the puja and everything, of course, I light the lamp. And the Panchopachara, you can offer, Snanam, you have Argyam, all of these offerings. After, doing the Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the main thing. What do you want from the puja? So there is a Sankalpa that we say in Sanskrit. Mamobhata samasta duritakshaya dwara Shri Parameshwari Prityartham Adya Shubhadine, like this. Traditionally, when we start the puja, we do a intention. What do we want? Ayur, Arogyam, and we say a big list. Long life, longevity, we want wealth, we want this, we want that, we give a big list. So that you can ask for whatever you want. You don't have to go along with the thing. You just connect, to the deity, ask. And then small puja with the offering, maybe a few names, namas. There are some namas. Ashtotram is very good. Lakshmi Ashtotram. 108 names of goddess. If you can, I can also share that with you. You can share with the viewers. But again, it's a bit complicated Sanskrit words. But you can do a few of them if you are not able. So the 108 names of Lakshmi, and then you can do simple Diya and Aarti after. Aarti, first offer Naivedyam. That is also an important step. So Naivedyam meaning all the sweets and you offer all the dishes to the deity first before you consume. So that is important. And there you chant, again, a few mantras are there. And it's all, again, it's a bit technical. Otherwise I could come and show the viewers how to do the puja, but we only have an interview here. So maybe another time we can have just a simple 5-step puja. I can tell people how to do it.
It's wonderful. And, when you talk about Ashtoshat name, which is 108.
Ashtotram,
which is 108 names of Goddess Lakshmi. So sometimes, they are in Sanskrit and, reading Sanskrit,
it's not easy.
A little bit tricky. So would you suggest any mantra which they can, chant for 108 times in instead of chanting 108 names of Sri Lakshmi?
Yeah, even Om Shri Lakshmi Namaha, or even the Lakshmi Gayatri. Mahadeve cha vitmahe Vishnu patne cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. Om Mahadeve cha vitmahe Vishnu patne cha dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat. That is Lakshmi. So there are different Gayatri mantras. That is Lakshmi Gayatri. The one that we mostly know is Surya Gayatri. It says for Surya. But this is for Goddess Lakshmi. Or you can just simply Om Shri Lakshmi Namaha. Om Shri Lakshmi Namaha. Just chant one name for Lakshmi.
Yeah, I think that will be easy for a lot of people to, chant one name, because at least, the pronunciation will be correct, and,
Yeah, correct.
And then you can just repeat the same. So when we talk about Diwali, again, Lord Lakshmi along with Lord Ganesha has been, prayed on that particular day. So what's the significance of, Lord Ganesha being worshipped along with Lord Lakshmi? Because Goddess Lakshmi is always associated with Lord Vishnu.
Yeah.
So on this Diwali, we have Lord Ganesha being worshipped with Goddess Lakshmi.
Because it is generally a new year, right? Diwali is something new. So anything's beginnings, new, all of this, Ganesha is always the one that clears the obstacles for the new beginnings. So even if we want to invoke the wealth of Lakshmi, eightfold form of wealth, Ashtalakshmi, Ganesha first, we begin with Ganesh Puja, because he clears the obstacles for us to invoke that the wealth of Ashtalakshmi. So Ganesha is always considered, the person for any new beginnings. He is the deity of new beginnings, of this clearing of the obstacles in life. So Diwali being specifically in many places celebrated as a new year, Ganesha is brought in as well, along with Lakshmi.
And, when we talk about Diwali, obviously, we celebrate Diwali in a very big way. We have firecrackers, and, that's become a very, very important part of, Diwali celebration, especially in India. So do you think this firecracker, is it something which has recently been associated with Diwali, or is it always been a part of Diwali celebration since ancient time? I mean, obviously there could be a different form of firecracker in
ancient times. We never had this noisy, huge rockets and this patas, that disturbs people, disturbs animals, disturbs the birds, our celebrations were always one of non-disturbance. Because Sanatana Dharma literally is based on ahimsa, paramo dharmaha, non-injury, non-violence to anything, disturbance to my surroundings and other beings. So this new, it is relatively new, this loud pattas and things like that. In the ancient times, they had these fireworks like sparklers, because it would be something quiet with a lot of light. The main thing was light, not noise. People have confused noise and light together in modern day. So now it's become less light, more noise. And that more noise disturbs the environment. It disturbs the the pollution that is created on those 5 days. It is something ridiculous that they have measured, right? So we're actually damaging the environment. That is not what our ancient culture was about. It's living in harmony.
A lot of people have associated Diwali with gambling and other sort of things. Again, in the name of Goddess Lakshmi, that will bring prosperity and money and whatnot. What would you like to say about them? Because, obviously something which is not right is not right.
Yeah, it is gambling definitely is ruled out. So, in Sanatana Dharma, it is not advocated. But people can do whatever, because that's the beauty of Hinduism. We don't have one body that lays out rules. It is everything fits under the umbrella of Sanatana Dharma. So in some ways, there's a lot of freedom to worship the way you want. But if that freedom gets abused also, people have to be more cautious, more wary, because just to bring in Lakshmi, gambling and doing all of things, you're actually going against, again, the tenets of Sanatana Dharma. So, these type of things, it is a time to spend in contemplation, in enjoyment with your friends, your family, and a time to actually spiritualize your life. All of the festivals were to awake the divinity in each individual, actually. People don't recognize that. Now it's become very commercial. It is more about buying jewelry, buying clothes, buying sweets, going. The actual reason for the festivals was that as a community society, we look to our divinity. We ask the grace of the deity that we're celebrating, and we ask for our spiritual growth. That was the real meaning behind our festivals.
Yeah, I think that's right too. Because let's talk about Dhanteras, and it is basically to do with Bhagwan Dhanvantri, who is a god of Ayurveda, medicine and well-being. And we have connected Dhanteras with buying gold and other expensive jewelry. So,
I mean, there's other stories about Dhanteras, because Dhanteras is also the day Lakshmi emerged from some Samudra Mathana as well. Mm-hmm. Some people celebrate. So that is why if I buy more gold, I'll get gold. It is just, again, commercial. And the jewelry stores, everybody loved that because they'll advertise, oh, Dhanteras, we have a sale on the gold. And in India, all the gold shops, are doing very well.
Yeah.
It is, again, all the festivals, very commercial. They've lost their significance. There are a few people who keep it, but the majority have forgotten the essence of our celebrations. The celebration is really the darkness of ignorance leaving, because the light of knowledge comes. The grace of Ishvara, of Ishvari, Ishvara, male or masculine or feminine aspect of divinity, is you invite that into your life and remove the dark areas of your life. That is Diwali, and all the festivals have a significance like that.
Basically, in Diwali, it is said that obviously, Goddess Lakshmi, Lord Ganesha, and some of the deities, they actually descend down to earth. And it is very easy that, if you worship with pure heart, it's very easy to connect with them and, seek their blessings, because, it's like something which you pray for like months and months. Maybe in just one day of prayer, with the pure heart, can get you with the same level of, siddhis and, blessings. So, yeah.
If it was that easy, everybody will be very wealthy, I think.
Yeah.
Everything goes along. It's just a form of praise, but everything goes along with our karma as well. If it is in your karma, it will happen. If it is not there for you to experience, you can pray. Definitely prayer never goes to waste. But, as human beings, we're always result-orientated. So Shastra also takes that line many times, giving us the results. So if you do this, many of our stotras and slokas, if you see, there will always be Palashruti. Palashruti means it will give you, if you chant this 3 times, this will happen, all your enemies will go, if you do this. Because our minds work on results. So who prays to Bhagavan or Bhagavati for them? Who prays for the sake of discovering God themselves? Very few. We want material things for our lives. Generally, we go for that. So there we have, stories of this time you will get more grace and everything. But it is all, again, belief. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. It is a belief. And there's nothing wrong with praying more intensely on one day. There's nothing wrong with it because you're invoking grace. So maybe it is said to invoke more grace on a certain day.
So when we talk about Lord Ganesh likes Modak, Krishna ji likes Makhan Mishri, and Hanuman ji likes Laddu. So what's the favorite food for Lakshmi ji? Like suppose if you want to offer something from our heart, prepare some nice food for Lakshmi ji. What's her favorite food?
That I think, you'll have to see according to the state in India. I'm not very clear about what Lakshmi enjoys. It is our projection. Again, what we enjoy, we offer. But generally in South, we offer this, maybe we offer pal payasam, some kind of kheer like that, some dish. And, again, it is the heart. So you can make anything. You can see in different states, maybe even culturally, like according to your tradition, what you feel Lakshmi will enjoy. But, there's no set rule. This is what I want to, really tell the viewers, that we shouldn't get into the anxiety and the worry of, oh, I haven't got this ingredient, I haven't been able to make this for Lakshmi, she only likes this dish, she may not like that dish. A goddess will not be a goddess if she has so many dislikes and likes, right? Then she's good as us. So it is our own projection that we think it is. So Lakshmi will take anything. Again, the real essence of invoking grace, however many things you can offer, 50 million dishes to the deities and offer with impure heart, but you can offer one small dish with a pure heart. Which one will she accept? The one with the pure heart, because pure heart alone invokes grace.
Very true. Very true. And when it comes to, obviously, it is said that Ganesh ji, you cannot offer tulsi to Ganesh ji, or tulsi is prohibited. I don't know, I've heard somewhere. So
these are all Puranic stories, and there are some myths and legends behind that. So that, I think, people can read about. Yeah.
Okay. And anything you would like to tell to our audience, like, about Diwali, or in general, what they should be practicing in order to get more into spirituality?
I think, one very important thing that we should bring in Diwali is this sense of giving and forgiving. Forgiving also people who have hurt us. Forgiving the past and moving on, not holding on to grudges, not holding on to any kind of feeling of, animosity. All of this is good to practice on this day. Let things go. Let Bhagavan take care of everything. So start a new beginning. Make it a day. Although, as I said, every day can be a new day for us. But it is a very special day because it's celebrated by so many Hindus all over the world. And, this mass celebration of one particular day gives it more energy. Definitely. There's more energy. People doing puja, prayer, all of this. So one very good thing to bring into Diwali is this letting go of all of this hurt and the guilt and all the grudges that we have, and moving on in life. Take it as a day to move on with your life, and you will find, life becomes more and more easy, more free for you. And this is something I'd like to just ask the viewers to take up for this Diwali. Let us live, this new year that is coming. Diwali is a mark of the new year in many states. Let us live in unity and harmony and in peace, because in many places in the world is in pieces at the moment. So let us make a pledge that we will bring peace into our lives, our family lives, our community lives, society lives, and expand that peace to more and more people.
So thank you very much. It was really nice. Let me tell you a little bit more about Swamini ji. I mean, I met her a few years ago, and to be honest, she has dedicated her entire life in teaching children and spreading the values of Sanatan Dharma. She's based in London, and
not just teaching children. I do take classes for children, but main classes are actually Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita for adults. So these teachings are for adults, but I'm taking up the role of teaching children because I find that children are, very lost in today's day and age. So
even the parents
the parents asked me. In fact, tomorrow is my children's class, but it's nice. They're chanting. I'm teaching Vedic chanting to them, Stotra chanting, Panchamahayagnas, which is contributing to society, our ancient way of contributing. So they're learning all of this, how to live from ancient traditions.
Yeah. And you can search for Arsha Deepa.
Ashadeepa.
Arsha Deepa on Google, and that's the organization Swamini ji is running. And anything you need, you can directly get in touch with her. And to be honest, she's really a divine soul. And it's very, very fortunate of me that I mean, I know her, and we got this opportunity to interact and share some knowledge she has with everyone else. So thank you very much for today's your time, and wish you a very happy Diwali. And
Diwali to you too. We'll finish with a little closing prayer.
Sure.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Satgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Hari Om.
Hari Om.